is all about the Roaring Twenties. When it initially first launched, you guys went crazy for it. It was certainly in my time here at Crafters Companion just over 4 years. It's the first time since we've done something fully dedicated to that Roaring Twenties, and you guys absolutely adored it. Now, when it comes to a product that first launches, between 4-6 weeks, maybe give or take a few days, what we do is we come along here with a full 2-hour craft along where you can be doing exactly that, in real time, crafting along. Now, it is aimed at those that have got the initial full collection, so that will include the paper pads and everything that went with it. Now, of course, we are further down the line. Now, we don't have things such as the paper pads, but what we do have is a collection selection. You'll see at the side of me, and we'll go over it in a moment or two if you do want to go for it. But as we can see, it's me on this side. So what does that mean? Well, that means that I am, well, not on the other side. So this time, it's not me doing the craft along. However, she did very, very graciously allow me to do her last craft along at the weekend. But she's here, she's back, she's ready to go. She's got the Roaring Twenties and another spectacular project, Michelle.
Thank you.
Look at that. Beautiful. That's all it needs.
Very easy to do though. So don't look at it and think there's just no way I can do that. Obviously, we've made it into a box because, you know, we have to hide our chocolate stash.
Of course.
I look at a project and I think, what can I do to that to make it a hidden chocolate stash box? Or cookies. Oh, yeah. Cookies or chocolate. I don't really, yeah, there's an element of, can I put food in it when I make a project? So, but yes, a lot easier and a lot simpler to do because obviously Craft Along, the award-winning Craft Along, we break it all down so you too can make these kind of projects.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, you also have the list, don't you, Michelle, of everything that you're going to need?
I do. Right, so if you're going to craft along with me, this is what you're going to need. So you're going to need the Sara Signature Roaring Twenties, and from that collection, you're going to need Shine Like the Stars stamp set, the Charleston couple die, the Showgirl die, the 12 by 12 paper pad. Again, you know, you can use anything that you want in there. The 8 by 8 foiled acetate, and the organza ribbon. And then from your other stash, you're going to need the Midas metallic ink pad in gold, some black card, luxury cardstock pack in gold. So I'm using my gold mirror, but again, you can use whatever you want. Some clear embossing powder. And then you are also going to need, is that it?
Just the one today.
There should be something more, yes. So I think it just goes through that you're going to need, so your glass mat, your scoreboard, you know, your general tools that you're going to need. So do we have the other? There it is. So we do have it. So your Gemini MIDI and above, your heat tools, guillotine, your either scissors and your craft knife, or if you have our Violet Studios paper trimmer, using that, your ruler and pencil, tacky glue, red liner tape in your 3mm, foam pads and foam tape, your scoreboard, and then some feathers from your stash.
Excellent.
And I think that's it. Normally when I send my email in of all the things that you need, Lily normally emails me back and says, do you need this and this? And I'm like, yes, yes I do. I like to do a Where's Wally version of what have I missed off my list.
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? Because then I go to, not to the opposite extent, but then I'll go down to the Poke Tool and that sort of stuff, and I get an email back going, well, we don't quite need that much information, but, you know, thank you for that one. But yes, if you did want to go for the collection selection that we've got at the side here, now this is your 13-piece. Now, I say 13-piece, but it's jam-packed full. We've got our dies, we've got our embossing folder that's 3D, we've also got our cut and emboss folder, we've then got our Charleston couple there, that's silhouette, an abundance of stamp sets, including a big stamp set with lots of different sentiments. We've got ribbons, we've then got our gold sequins, we've got our gilding flakes, edgeable dies, all of that is included within that bundle there. £67 or $87. You've got really lovely saving on that one, saving $16.87 or $22.35. But if you are platinum, and if you are at that platinum level, so if you're in Club Inspired, that will come down a little bit less, but if you're at platinum level, that then means you're going to get your 20% discount on that one, coming down to £53.60 or $69.60. It's all across on our website as well. Go into Shop the Day, that's where you're going to find it all, as well as everything from later on's Cart Load. But as this show is all about the craft along, that's exactly what we're going to be doing. Now, it's not just Michelle, we have got a very special guest where I have to say, and put my hands up here and say, completely forgot about the Hawaiian shirt. It was a crazy day yesterday and a crazy morning before I come in that I forgot to bring in the Hawaiian shirt, even although Ben kept trying to remind me to bring it in. So I hold apologies on that one, but we are going all the way to Hawaii. We're going to be talking to Corinne that's taken part in the craft along. Well, it's a very, very early morning, Corinne, is it? Or late at night?
It's 3 a.m.
3 a.m.
It's very early.
Very, very, very early. What was it that made you decide or think, do you know what, it might be the middle of the night or morning, wherever you want to then kind of think of it as, that you wanted to take part in this craft along?
Well, I have some wonderful friends, craft friends that I've met through CCTV, and they all pretty much encouraged me. And I took them up on it, and I'm usually up this late anyway, so This is perfect. My husband's sleeping, it's quiet, no animals barking, no doves singing, so this is fantastic.
Yeah. I have to say though, you've got that time of the morning, night as well, curtains are closed, there's no palm trees, there's no sunshine there in the background. We just need to envision it for this craft along. But even though it may be that time of the morning, it is so lovely to see you. What do you think of Michelle's project that you're going to be making?
Oh, I think it's beautiful. It's just absolutely stunning. And I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to achieve this.
I am more than positive that you absolutely will. So what we'll do throughout this show, I'm sure you've seen our craft alongs before, Corinne, but what we will do is every now and again throughout the show, we will dot back. But if you do have a question or you want to check in, just raise your hand, and the guys in the gallery, we've got Jamie as well as Charlotte and Johnny. They will then come back to us and then we can answer your question. So if you're ready to go, I think we are in the comments as well. We've got Rebecca is on the comments for today's show. We've got Betsy is in. We've got Ben McCarthy is in, saying good afternoon, everyone. Lynn Blackledge is saying, I'm watching from mainland UK, not the Isle of Wight today. I'm visiting family. Well, it's lovely to see you still popping in, even although you're visiting family. Astrid's in, Linda's in, Sharon's in. We've got Sarah's in, saying good morning, everyone from Arkansas. Sandra Dundas is saying that she's back, ready to go. Lizara is saying, afternoon, crafty friends, Craig and Michelle. Afternoon to you. And then we've got Kathy as well, saying hello from Washburn, Illinois. It's a beautiful sunny day and a great day to be watching CCTV and shop with my crafty friends. Isn't it just? And what better way to be spending your day than doing a craft along with Michelle? So on that marks, let's get started, Michelle.
Okie doke. Your day or your night in Corinne's case. Right, so first things first, we're going to grab some black card and we're going to create that lovely base. So in fact, let me put that black card to the side. In fact, grab your gold. So whichever gold mirror card that you've started with, or that you've chosen, we're going to start with that. We'll do the back piece in a minute. So I'm going to grab some of my gold mirror card and we're just going to cut it down. So I'm going to leave it the width that it is. So I'm going to leave it at the 8.2 because we'll trim everything down once we've glued it together. So all we're going to do is we're just going to cut this down to 6 inches. And then we're going to cut some more pieces. Okay. So we're going to cut 2 pieces at 1.5 inches wide. So it's definitely using up all of your one piece of card with this one.
Perfect.
So that's 2 pieces at 1.5, and then we're going to cut 2 pieces at 1 inch. So just lining that up. There we go. And then just one more. Again, just line that up. It's when you've got the lights reflecting on it, it just takes that extra minute for me to line it up. Yeah. It's good that it's such a nice high sheen mirror card, but when you've got them lights lighting as well. Right, so let's get rid of that piece. So you should have one piece at just 6 inches wide, your 2 1.5 inch wide pieces, and 2 at 1 inch wide.
Okay.
So we're going to start with this one first. So I'm going to bring in, so we're going to sort of make some markings on this. So we're going to turn it over because obviously we're not going to write any pen or pencil on the mirror side. I'm going to bring in my pencil and I've got my ruler. And again, you know that I always use my glass mat to sort of, if I'm writing any measurements on here, I always tend to use this. So for me, we're going to put a little mark at 3 inches. So again, I'm using this because it's the most perfect thing to use. It's got a little notch there at 3 inches. So that's going to be my top. I did it upside down because, you know, left-handed, I work very weird.
Okay.
But this is going to be my top. So 3 inches there. And then here and here, we're going to put a mark or a notch, whatever you want, at 1 inch down. 1 inch there. And then 1 inch there. And then at the bottom, we're going to put another mark. We're going to come in 2 inches to there. And then the same at this side, we're going to come in 2 inches. So that leaves me a 2 inch piece in the middle. And what you're going to do is I'm just going to put those pencil lines in for you to see. Now, if you find it easy to put the pencil lines in and then cut it, then do that. So we're going to cut these pieces away. So just lining that up nice and straight. And straight away, as soon as I put those lines in, you can see.
You can see the shape, can't you?
I've got a little bit wonky, but you can see the shape. So that is what we're going to cut away. So I'm going to bring in my guillotine. I suppose it's a lot easier for you to do it if you've put that pencil line in anyway. But if not, you're just going to go notch to notch. So just lining that up, put that away. And again, you know, if there's a bit of pencil mark left on there, just bring in your eraser and get rid of that.
Once you've cut that one there, could you, for Sandra, just repeat the measurements again quickly with a gold card?
Absolutely. So I cut a piece of card, 6 inches wide.
Okay.
And I left it the 8.2 inches of, you know, the side of the A4 card. In the middle, I put a notch at 3 inches, so halfway. Down the sides, I put a notch or a pencil mark at 1 inch down, and then this one is 2 inches in.
Perfect.
So it's exactly the same at this side. We was 1 inch down and 2 inches in.
Got you. And as you say, you can see that shape come to life, can't you?
Straight away, you've got
Look at
that central, excuse my fingerprints, but that don't matter. Straight away, you've got the initial shape that we're going to follow on. So we're going to pop that to the side, because we're going to pop this to the side as well. And we're going to bring in, so these two pieces that are 1.5 inches wide. So again, we're going to arrange these so they're going to sit nicely like that. So what we're going to do for that is, I'm going to flip these both over because I'm going to find it easier to put my pencil mark on this side. If you want to use your pokey tool and where we're going to measure, just put a little notch. It's entirely up to you. But when you flip them over, so let me show you this measurement first. All we're going to do is, 1/2 inch down, I'm going to put a notch there. And on this one, we're going to go 1/2 inch down. I'm going to put it on that outside.
Okay.
So they're going to be on opposite sides. So just put that notch there. So it's 1/2 inch. And then so either scissors or your guillotine, entirely up to you. So I'll put the pencil mark on again for you so you can see. We're just going to snip away that top edge. But if I show you this piece as well, we're going to snip those away. And obviously these are on opposite sides. So once I've cut them out and we flip them over, you just have to remember they're going to go on the other side. So we're just going to cut that top notch away. So what I mean by that is, when I bring this in, That one's going to flip over to that side. Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? You know when you look at something, you think, is it wrong or is it right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to flip it over, and you can see that that angle is going to carry on down for me. So already, how easy is that coming together?
So easy, yeah.
So you just have to remember when you've got your notches, you're just flipping that back over. So we're going to pop those to the side, because that's all we're going to do to those for now. And I've got my 2 1-inch pieces. We're going to do exactly the same. We're just going to measure down 1/2 inch and put a notch there, and the same on this side, 1/2 inch. Write that, or dot that notch. Dot that notch.
Dot that notch.
There we go. Cut that sliver away, and we're going to cut that one away. So we've got our mat pieces to go on, but if I bring that in for you now, you can see, pop that underneath there. You can see how my shape is coming together.
Look at
already.
that.
Pop that under there. There you go. A little bit wonky, but that is how it's coming together. And what I love about doing it this way, you've got that lovely texture and dimension that's happening. So then what we're going to do with this is we're going to pop these pieces to the side. I'm going to pop that up there as well, because you're going to pick your patterned piece of paper. It's going to go on the front of this. So I'm going to use this one again. I used it on my original one, and I was going to use that, but I really love this piece, so I'm going to work with this piece again. So we're going to sort of do exactly the same as we did before. We're going to bring in this, and we're going to cut it to 6 inches wide. So just lining that up. And we know that this is 8.2 inches because that's obviously the size of the A4 piece that we use. So we are going to trim this down to exactly the same. We're going to trim it down to 8.2.
Okay.
So 7, 8. There we go. So it's going to sit exactly, you can see it's exactly the same depth.
So it is.
So what we're going to do is exactly the same as I did with this. It doesn't matter which side you're going to turn this to put your little pencil mark on. For one, you're not going to notice it because of how busy that pattern is. But if I flip it over and do it, you don't... If you've done that the tiniest little bit off compared to that side, if I flip this to measure it, flip it back round, I'm going to be a little bit off. It's not going to sit straight. So we're just going to do exactly the same as we did before.
Makes sense, yeah.
So we're going to put, and again, you can bring your scoreboard in and put a little score notch there if you find that easier. It's whatever works for you. So I'm going to exactly there at 3 inches. We're going to pop that notch there, and I'm just going to pop a pencil mark on there, 1 inch down at that side and 1 inch down at that side. I'm going to bring it up, and exactly the same at the bottom. I'm going to come in 2 inches. There. And there. So you can see, you're not going to be able to see it because it's going to be getting a little bit lost because of the pattern, to be honest. But we're just going to do exactly the same again. So from that notch to that 1 inch one, even I can't see it. No, I can't. This actually, on this pattern paper would be where you were probably better off putting those pencil lines in, because you're going to see them a lot better than what I can see this. So let me just check that I put that at 3 inches, because it looks a little bit off. No, it is. So again, so that notch to that, just creating that pointed top. And do you know, I've turned into my mum. I've started bringing my glasses to the end of my nose, looking over the top, because I'm short-sighted and I need reading glasses. So I've got like nothing working for my eyes at all.
And then you've given yourself one of the most busiest pattern papers to line up your lines with.
There we go. It's so much easier at home because I don't have, obviously, the studio lights. Right, and again, so from that notch at the top to the 2 inches in, I'm going to just put a notch there with my little poker tool, just to make it that tiniest little bit easier for me to see in these lights.
I suppose you could always do like a tiny little snip mark, couldn't you, when it comes to the scissors? Oh, we are going to jump across to Hawaii because we've got a question from Corin coming in here. So she is going to be coming on the screen just in a second. Michelle's not doing anything, so don't worry, you're not missing out on anything. But here we go. What can we help with, Corin?
Hi, just a little bit fast for me. So I missed the measurements for the pattern paper. I'm not sure what I'm trimming it down to and then where I'm marking at. So I missed that part.
Absolutely fine. It's exactly the same as with your gold mirror card. So you're going to cut it to 6 inches wide. So 6 inches wide. And we've cut it down to 8.2 inches, which is exactly the same as that side of your A4. So 6 inches by 8.2. And you're going to score exactly the same as we did with the gold mirror. You're going to put a little notch at 3 inches, which is in the middle, an inch down at each side, and then we're going to cut those 2 pieces away. And then we've done exactly the same at the bottom, 2 inches in there, 2 inches in there, and then we're going to cut from there to there and there to there. It's going to be exactly the same as your gold piece we've just done.
Perfect. Excellent.
Fabulous.
She's all good.
Good, good. I love that, live to Hawaii.
I know it, isn't it?
We should be saying live from Hawaii, though.
We should say we're live from Hawaii.
Right, so you can see that I'm fitting exactly over the top. We don't want that. We want that lovely gold border coming round the side.
Okay.
So the easiest way for me to show you how to do it, instead of trying to give you lots more measurements that, you know, can go wrong, all we're going to do, so which is why I said, if you've got a trimmer or you've got your ruler and your craft knife, it makes it so much easier to do it this way. Because if I lift my trimmer up, I've obviously got those markings on there that make it easier to cut a sliver off than it does with your guillotine.
Yeah.
Your guillotine's absolutely amazing, but if you want a little bit more precision on an awkward shape, I always find so either your ruler and a craft knife or this, because you've got the score lines markings on that side as well. So all you're going to do on each and every single side, we're going to, we're using so either the, you know, the 1/4 of an inch or the 2/8 of an inch, or can you see that on here? So those markings that are on your ruler, just use one of those markings, line it up with the edge, and cut that away. You've got a perfect, perfect line there to allow you to cut it away. But I'm going to pop it on here, and I'm going to line it up. And again, it's entirely up to you how much of this you want to cut away. I'm going to cut 1/8 of an inch away. So you can see I've just took that sliver away. I'm going to do that on every single side. So I'm going to turn this to this side now. And let me bring that down just so I can use that mark in there. I'm going to line it up, make sure it's nice and straight. I'm going to trim that away. So again, you can see I've just trimmed a little sliver. I'm going to go to that side as well. I'm going to follow that line just there. And the thing is, because you've got all these grids here, you can line it up.
Well, that's it. It's just about using your tools to the best of their ability as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. So let's pop this side. So remember which side you have cut and you haven't cut.
That's a good point, yeah.
Don't go twice over one side and think, why is it all wonky? So just lining that up there. Pop that on there. So I've cut a slither off of each side. So now, when I pop that on there, I have got, I mean, I went a bit wonky there, I know I did. But if you haven't gone wonky, and to be honest, it doesn't really show that much.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
That is the easiest way I can show you if you've got an awkward shape, how to mat and layer it. So that's it for that piece. We're going to pop that to the side.
Such an easy way to see if you do have an awkward shape when it comes to mat and layer. And obviously you can take what Michelle's just shown you there for any other awkward shapes you might have within future projects.
Yeah,
great way to mat and layer.
You get certain shaped bases and you think, how on earth do I mat and layer that?
Yeah.
So that's the easiest way I felt that I could show you. So remember these pieces, we're going to mat and layer these as well. So again, I'm going to use exactly the same piece of paper that I have just done for the front.
Okay.
So we're going to bring this in again. And remember, we're going to cut this down to 8.2, which is the same height as our black gold. So 8.2. And then, so we've got two pieces at 1.5 inches wide. Because these are a lot of a simpler shape, we're going to automatically do the mat and layer size. So this is 1.5, so we're going to cut two pieces at 1 2/8. So we're going down that 1/4 inch. So if I show you that, I've got the mat and layer to the sides already. So we need two of those, so another one at 1 2/8 inch. And then our other gold pieces are 1 inch wide. So again, we're going to go down 1/4 inch, which makes it 6/8 inch wide. And again, I'm going to need two of those. So just lining that up. There we go. Right, let me pop that back in. Right, move those to the side. So we're going to do the two wider pieces first. So you can see, so I try to keep them on my desk the same way that they're going to go on my project so I don't get all confused. So if you remember, we did we did 1/2 inch down there. So there's a couple of ways that you can do this. You can pop it on there and just snip, which is what we're going to do. So I've got 1/4 inch at the bottom. If I move that up another 1/4 inch, and I know I'm doing this by eye, you can absolutely measure it if you want. Just bring your scissor in and follow your cut line. So I'm a little wonky. And then bring that back down. It's cut on exactly the same angle.
So moving up that extra 1/4 inch
Yeah.
takes into account the mat and layer for the top.
Yeah, because then you're following that line, so you know it's going to be exactly the same. Because sometimes, just by just that tiny little bit of a slither, we can make it go wonky. But by doing that, you get it perfect. So I'm going to do the same. If you pop this on here, with your border on all three sides as it's going to be. So you've got your 1/4 inch at the bottom. Move that up just another 1/4 inch. And we don't have to be perfect because we're going to trim these bottoms off. But if we are wanting, if you're not going to be trimming those bottoms away, it is just another 1/4 inch. Hold that nice and tight and trim that away. And then once you bring it back down, you have got that perfect border on the top. So let's just tape those on. So with whatever glue that you're going to be using, I'm going to use our tacky glue. And we're just going to glue these on here.
Such great tips when it comes to layering in and it's a little bit awkward.
And I think sometimes, you can get a little bit caught up on it has to be this particular measurement and this particular measurement. I think sometimes if we can just line them up together and just snip it away.
Simplify it, yeah.
Yeah, it just makes it so much easier. There we go. So let's just give that a good press down. And then we'll glue this one on as well. Oh, didn't want to come out then.
No, it didn't.
I was squeezing it so gently, waiting for it to...
You just never know, do you? Sometimes you think if it's not going to quite come out straight away, you've got this expectations that if you press a little bit too hard, you're just going to be ending up with a big splodge of glue.
That's it, absolutely. So, just... Oops, excuse me. No, it wasn't me really, honest. We forgot to glue this one on, so we're going to glue this one on. Just gluing all over that. Trying to go to the edges without putting too much glue there. And then pop this on as well. So, I'll just pop that on there.
If anyone's needing to catch up, we're going to take a little bit of a break, just in a moment or two. We're not leaving Michelle right now, but if you are wanting to catch up, then it's just coming up just shortly for you.
Just giving that a wiggle into place. There we go. So, shall we leave it there for now? Let people catch up and then we'll carry on.
Perfect. That's great. I'm even just thinking on that now. I know many people might not get this one. Johnny will do as well. But if you've got, you know, young sons or nephews or nieces or daughters or sisters that are into the wrestling, they're a big fan of The Undertaker, that would be a really good base platform there for The Undertaker.
Yeah,
you know, it
absolutely.
would be if you wanted to. It'd be quite good. Yeah. See, like that one. Might do that for my cousin's birthday card next month, although he's in his 20s. But, and do you know something? At several point when I'm saying that there, you know, you could follow craft alongs or any of the demonstrations that we do, and you can see shapes and styles that might think, actually, that shape would do really well if for someone that likes the wrestling, is a fan of The Undertaker. So you can take shapes and then just use them elsewhere within your crafty, your crafty makes if you want to. But that is from the Roaring Twenties collection selection that we have got. What we do also have as well, now we've brought these ones in from our cart load later on because these ones are on at a 30% saving. It's a 10-pack of your opaque pigment ink pads. So what does that mean? So these stay open a lot longer, which means you can pop your embossing powders over the top if you want to. Probably predominantly clear embossing because these are coloured, but then you're going to get a lovely blend as well, really intense blend, get an ombre effect when it comes to the pigment ink pads. Now £40 or $60, you've got your platinum price at £32 or $48. You're going to be getting parakeet. So you're going to be getting your parakeet. You're also going to be getting your oasis. You're then also going to be getting your honey pot. Then you're also going to be getting the lemon tonic. You're also going to be getting the straw bale. You're also then going to be getting the plum jam. You're also going to be getting the fuchsia. You're also going to be getting the pink tulip. You're also going to be getting the crushed velvet. And then you're also going to be getting the grasshopper ads. All right, Michelle, okay, Michelle, right. Let's go back to the fuchsia then, if you want to. Let's do it. Gosh, seeing as you were really, really asking to see that again. There you go. Going back to the fuchsia with that one there. So all 10 of those you are going to be getting for £40 or $60. You're going to be saving £19.90 over you guys stateside, $29.50. If you are platinum, that's then going to come down to £32 or $48. So that is taking your 20% off. So you can see as a whole, you've already got your 30% saving on that today's price. And then if you are platinum at Club Inspire, that's then giving you your extra 20% as well. Really, really good selection, colour selection when it comes to the pigment ink pads there. If you want to get them, pop them into your basket as well. You'll find them on Shop the Day as well, all part of your Spectrum Noir. But I would say, although it's craft along, if you are using these opportunities to then check out the website, do have a look at tonight's cart load. It's going to be myself and Leanne. Incredible Spectrum Noir deals myself and Michelle showed you within Wake Up Call. That was just some of them. But that being said, if you are needing to either check out the website or if you are just needing to catch up, what we're going to do is we're just going to give you a couple of moments to then catch up with where you're needing to get to with the craft along, and myself and Michelle, we will be back and carry on with the craft along after this little bit about Club Inspire.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% of your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every pound, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
We get to know people from places and walks of life that we wouldn't come across in our everyday life if it wasn't for Crafters TV and doing what we do.
I got so many lovely comments from people when I started doing the presenting, and it was just really such a lovely feeling. And it's nice that people keep messaging in. You know, we see the same people, and we know you can build up that kind of relationship with those people. So it's just the fact that people like what we do and they're pleased. And I do love it when people send us photographs of the items that they've made.
We talk about customers, but really they go in as a customer, come out as a friend. The support that I get is amazing. The messages I get are amazing.
Me personally, it is personal interaction. I've never had the best of health. I've always been open about that with our viewers at Crafters TV. So many people are in the same situation as me health-wise. Other people have got a completely different health issues. They understand and they relate to what I'm going through, what others are going through. So whether we interact on a crafting basis or whether we interact on a health basis, a personal basis, we're all there to support one another. It is incredible.
The reaction of viewers when they come to meet us is worth all of the early mornings when we have to get up for our early morning shows.
Some of the customers come on as craft ambassadors and things like that, craft along with us, and being able to actually chat with them on air. I love it. I really love that connection with them.
We've had lots of shows where we've done like craft alongs, especially where we've had viewers craft along with us. We had a particular viewer, Joy, who joined us once before, and she literally made me cry on air, and Joe, because the things she said about us, it really was quite humbling that there are people out there that watch us and invite us into their living rooms and really treat us like family.
Many of you are saying how much that you're loving this craft along, you're loving the style, you're loving the papers, the colours that Michelle has been using. But what we are going to do is we're going to drop back to Corin, I believe. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of a recap as to what Michelle was doing just in that first half here with the measurement. So I know that Corin's just a way to come on just now, and in between Michelle and Corin, all of you at home, you'll get a recap of all the measurements. So it's just... There we go.
Hello, and welcome to Craft Along. So I'm just going to recap it all, just all the measurements, you know, so you can either note these down or anything like that. So what I've done, so I'm going to show you on a piece of white card here, just the measurements.
Okay.
So I've got my A4 sheet of card. I've turned it on its side, and I've just cut it to 6 inches. So what you're going to have is you're going to have 6 inches by 8 2/8 of an inch. What you're going to do is you're going to put a notch in the middle at 3 inches. So that's at 3 inches. And then 1 inch down, you're going to put a notch there. And there, you're going to put a notch as well. So what you're going to do then is you're going to cut those 2 pieces away. And then all the way to the bottom, we're going to measure 2 inches in from that side and 2 inches in from this side. And then I'm going to bring my ruler in because I can't draw that line straight, not that long. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut that all the way down. So that is what you're going to end up with. So if I bring that in, that is going to be your gold piece. So then what you're going to do for the pattern piece of paper, you're going to do exactly the same as what I've just done with the gold.
Okay.
So you're going to cut it all exactly the same. But then what you're going to do is either with this, with your ruler, or if you've got a paper trimmer, you're going to go around each side and roughly 1 or 2/8 of an inch, depending on how big a border you want, you're going to cut away on all 5 sides. I'm going to say 4, on all 5 sides. So that is when you will end up, when you put your pattern paper on, you're going to end up with that border all the way round. So does that make sense so far?
Perfect. Thank you for recapping that one, Michelle. Appreciate that one. Right, let's dot back to Hawaii. We're just going to check and see that Corin's got on okay with that one. All good, Corin?
Aloha and mahalo for a big thank you for repeating those instructions.
You're welcome.
No problem.
Struggled a little bit to catch up, so and now I'm going to start to understand and I got a little notes going, so
Yeah.
but I know I'll get it. With my vision, I go a little slow, but I can do it.
Not a problem. That's what we're here for as well. You know, you're in the VIP seat, so if you are just needing a catch-up or that, then probably you'll find as well some at home are maybe needing a little catch-up as well, so you've got that ability to say, please stop for a moment, can we recap that one? So any other issues, you know, if you're needing another recap of that further down the line, just give us a shout and then we'll come back to you. If not, we'll still come back to you and see how you're getting on throughout the show.
Perfect, because this is all I've gotten done so far. I had to redo this one
Perfect, yeah.
a couple
Absolutely
times.
fine.
So I just got to trim it down and then I'll be ready to move on.
Don't worry about it, don't stress about it, just have fun. That's what the Craft Along is all about. But we'll come back to you just shortly. No questions as such. All that is just saying how much they love the project. Some, as we found, some are doing it live. Some will watch it and then do it afterwards. So whatever way that you do it, it's entirely up to yourself. But Denise is saying amazing project, as is Tracy and Laurie and Evan and Mary, Astrid, Beth, and just a few, to name a few, are all saying the same things. So no other questions, which means everyone is all A-OK, Michelle, so we can carry on.
Fabulous. Right, so we've got our 2 gold pieces that are going to go to each side. So if you remember, these are 1.5 inches wide, and again, it's by that height, which is the A4. So it's 1.5 inches wide by 8.2, and then your mat and layer piece, we've gone 1 2/8 of an inch wide, and then if you remember, so I'll bring this in to show you. When we trimmed this further down, we just popped it a little bit higher to cut the same angle. So we'll do that now. So we'll pop those to the side and we'll bring these in. So I'm always going to keep them, again, at the sides that I know they're going on my project, so it makes it simpler for me. It doesn't take a lot to confuse me. So these are 1 inch wide, again, just by the height of the card, and these are 6/8 of an inch wide. So if I hold this on here, you can see that if I pop that right in the middle, I've got that perfect border all the way round. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift this up, just roughly 1/8 of an inch higher, and I'm going to hold it perfectly in the middle, and we're going to trim it following the cut mark that we've already got there on our gold.
Okay,
and then once I bring that back down, I have got a perfect border all the way around. So we're going to do exactly the same. So this is 1 inch wide, and this is 6/8 of an inch. So again, it fits beautifully around those 3 sides and not at the top. So we're going to bring it up another 1/4 of an inch. We're going to hold it nice and firmly at the top there, and we're going to follow the gold card, because then when we bring it back down, you've again got that perfect border at the top. So now we're going to do with these two now is just glue them on.
Okay. Love that tip. Again, I know I said that beforehand, but I just think it's such a simple tip, but not necessarily something that some of us would think of. Even I never thought of it, doing it in that way.
No, it's the simplest way. I just thought to myself, it's not a complicated project in lots of measurements and stuff. There's just lots of bits to cut. So, and I must admit, I always struggle to mat and layer with an angle at the top. And I've always just found this way just the easiest way to do it. And it's a way that everyone can do as well.
You're right, that's it, exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone can do it that way.
No measurements, no difficult stuff. We just want to have the fun of sticking stuff down, making it look pretty. We don't want a maths lesson as well.
No, we'll leave that for when Corinne's in.
Yeah. Gosh, I was listening to her the other day. Did she do it at college or uni or something? Some sort of weird maths?
Yeah, well, because she'd done it in her past career, you know, when it comes to the maths and that. But she's just so quick, she's on it straight away. And we jokingly say here in the UK, there's a TV presenter, Carol Vorderman, that is just a whiz with maths.
Yeah.
And, you know, we flippantly say it as a joke, but we're being serious as well. She's so quick as Corinne, you know, you don't even need to think about, you know, if you have to think about it, for me, I'll still be thinking about a certain maths problem tomorrow. Whereas
Yes.
Corinne, you know, straight away, she's got it. And she's good with discounts to that when it comes to Club Inspire, little incentives and all of that.
Yeah.
So really, I wish I was as good at maths as Corinne is. I would have liked to have been, but
No,
no.
definitely not. I'm glad I got out. I got a C in maths, and that's as good as it gets. And I think I fluked that score as well. Right, so these are our 5 pieces that we've got for now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pop those 2 to the side, because what we're going to do is I'll pop that one up there as well, and we're going to get our 3mm red liner tape, and we're just going to put a line of tape all the way down there and all the way down there. So these are the 2 pieces that are going to glue underneath here. So I'm using the 3mm because I'm using it as a guide. I know that when I stick that, I just need to follow the 3mm tape, and I'm going to glue it exactly where I need it to be. So as long as you've got this straight on the edge of your piece of card here, you can use it as a measurement guide.
Again, it's about using your tools, in this occasion your adhesives, in ways to give you guides, visual guides, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, just down that one side, because that's the only piece that we're going to be attaching. Just make sure that that's nice and burnished. So what I need to do is, I'm not having that exactly matching top to top. I want to bring it down a little bit. So I'm going to mark a ½ inch. So again, this is entirely up to you how you mark this ½ inch, because it's going to be on the front, because we need to see it. I'm not too bothered about having a little notch mark just here on my mirror card, because I think sometimes by the nature of mirror card, when we're using it, we get lots of little marks on it anyway. So for me, I'm not too bothered about seeing that.
Okay.
If you are, cut a piece of card to a ½ inch and pop it, this isn't a ½ inch obviously, and pop it there. And then when I want to glue this underneath, I can line it up with that. So then I'm not putting any notch marks, any pencil marks or anything on there.
Awesome idea.
So yeah, I'm trying to think of all the easy ways for people.
That's such an easy way, clever way.
Right, so I've got my ½ inch notch. I'm going to have to turn mine upside down because it's just the easiest way for me to do this. So I'm going to take that glue carrier sheet off, if I can get it. So the top of here, I've got my notch here at ½ inch, is going to line up. So I'm going to I'm angling the rest of it away so I don't stick it all accidentally down. Popping that there, and I'm just going to hold it. And then following my red liner tape, I'm going to stick it down. and I've got it exactly where I want it. So we're going to do exactly the same on this side. So I'm going to pop a little notch just at the top at 1/2 inch down. And it doesn't have to be, you know, if you are using your pokey tool, or it doesn't have to be a real deep mark. It can be a really delicate one just on the top, so it doesn't mark it too much.
It's just a visual for yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. So let me, again, pull that off. So again, I'm going to turn mine upside down because, I don't know, weird.
No, it's not weird. I do it with the scoreboards. I turn the scoreboards down for the box base, so it's not weird at all.
Everything gets turned upside down before I figure out what I'm doing. So again, I'm going to angle this up and away because I'm just going to pop that top bit on exactly where I want it. And then I can turn this as I need to exactly where I want it to be. And there we go. So these bits, don't worry about these bits because they're going to get cut away. So that is those 2 bits for now. And then we're going to bring in these. And we're going to do something just a little bit different. If you want to do exactly the same and glue that straight down. But what I did is I glued mine on an angle. It just added a little bit, again, I told you, I saw the mirror that I sort of followed the pattern of. So this is what we're going to do for this. But again, you don't have to. Do exactly the same as I've just done if you want. So what we're going to do is, at the top, just those 2/8 of an inch here, I'm just going to put a little notch. Okay? And then at the bottom, 2/8 of an inch in here. So you're sort of going on a diagonal. Just 2/8 of an inch there.
So for anyone like me, that's 3/4 of an inch, is it?
Well, yeah, so it depends which side you're working from, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But so from this side, I've gone 1/4 of an inch.
Got you.
And then on the bottom from this side, you can't see that, can you? There, I've gone 1/4 of an inch in. So if I show you a visual of that, where is... You want to be thankful that you haven't got this craft along. I've got all sorts of bits here. So a visual for you. You can see that I've got a glue mark there.
Yeah.
Or a notch mark there and a notch mark there. Where's my ruler? So what it's going to look like is this. We're going to put some red liner tape there. So you go 1/4 of an inch in there, 1/4 of an inch in there. We're going to pop some red liner tape down that. So if you feel you need to put a pencil line as a visual, then pop it on. But I can see both my notches. So from that notch at the top, and if you hold this tight enough, but not too tight, it's going to give you a perfect straight line. There you go. Can you see how it goes from there to there? So that's where it is. So we're going to do the same on the other side. We're going to pop. So I'm going to pop that. I'm using this to measure. So from the inside, I'm going to put a little notch at 2/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, whichever you use. And then from the outside at the bottom, we're going to go 1/4 of an inch in. And again, we're going to put the red liner tape on there, and I'm going to use that as a guide. So if I pull that nice and tight enough, it's going to give me a straight line, and I can snip it away. Right, so that red liner tape is, again, we're just going to do exactly the same. We're going to pop it on there, and I'm going to follow my red liner tape. But I'm not going to go from the top again. We're going to do the same as we did before. So we're going to come 1/4 of an inch down.
Got ya.
So just using this again, I'm going to put 1/4 of an inch mark there. I'm going to make sure that's nice and stuck down. Lift my red liner. And again, I'm going to turn it upside down. So again, I'm just going to stick this following that line of red liner from my 1/4 of an inch down notch. So we're going to pop that to the top. I'm going to hold it with my thumb, which means I can still move the rest of it.
Okay.
I'm going to follow. There we go. So you can see how it's got a slightly different angle on it.
You can see it, yeah.
But it adds to the effect of that design. I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. So we're going to mark 1/4 inch down on here. I'm going to take the red line off this.
And I think that different angle, Michelle, it's maybe not something your eye would catch straight away, but it's one of those that your eye sees something different each time.
Yeah.
And that different angle is what you would catch maybe the second time or the third time or fourth time.
That's it. That's absolutely it. So remember, our 1/4 inch notch down there, and this could be bigger, it could be 1 inch if you want it to be, but this is what I've gone with. So 1/4 inch. Again, I'm going to pop it on, I'm going to hold it with my thumb. It allows me to move the rest of it till I'm happy that it's in line. And then I'm going to press the rest down. So there you go.
Love
so that's how, I think that's very easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's just about sort of doing those mats and layers, but it was the easiest way I felt I could come up with to do this.
Oh, definitely. You know, you could have come here with all your different measurements and that, whereas that really is a straightforward way to do the layers.
Absolutely. So all we're going to do now is, following this line here, we're just going to cut it all the way across.
Okay.
So I'm going to pop that in there, which is why I said you didn't need to worry about those bottom bits. And that's the front. So that's it. That's the front of most of it. So should we leave it there and see if...
Let's do that, yeah. We can dot into Corinne and see how she's getting on, if she's got any questions. I know that she's going to be coming in just in a moment. But we'll have a little recap of the boards as well for anyone that's wanting to go for that collection, but we'll do that after. We've been to Hawaii and we've seen that... How are you getting on, Corinne?
Well, as I said, I'm a little slow. I've got, you know, this part done. I've got the little strips done, the pattern paper. I missed how she trimmed this part for the angles. And then putting them all together will be the next thing for me.
Should I show her on some white paper? Because
yeah,
the mirror
let's do that.
is sort of reflecting. If I show you on a little bit of white card, you're going to see a lot easier.
That'd be good.
Let me just grab a piece. Right, so just on that length there, I've got my 1.5 inch piece. Let me trim just a 1 inch piece, 1 2/8 inch piece of this. So it's going to be exactly the same on all 4 of these pieces. So what I did was, I'll do it in pencil again so you can see it. We was 1/2 inch down. 1/2 inch down. And we're going to trim that piece away. So just trim up there. And this is my inch piece. So you can see that I've got that border all the way round. So what I'm going to do is we're going to bring it up just another 1/4 inch from the bottom. So I'm going to have 1/2 inch there. And again, making sure that it's all nice and straight at the sides. And then all you're going to do is you're going to trim away that overhanging piece. So it's going to be in line with that white piece. So then when you bring it down, you've got that border.
That layer.
Okay? So then you've got a perfect border, except for mine's wonky. But you've got that perfect border. So you're going to push it up and over, you're going to trim it to exactly the same angle as that. You're going to use that as your ruler, as your guide. And then when you bring it back down, you've got that perfect line across.
You do.
And you do that on all 4 of these pieces. So is that okay?
Perfect. I think so. I think we're rocking and rolling.
Half inch, I had 1 inch. So maybe I got that wrong.
No, 1/2 inch, you're absolutely right. I was just trying to go quickly and just got the measurement wrong, but yeah, absolutely, 1/2 inch. But you're just going to do it exactly the same. You're just going to bring your pattern paper up, you're going to use your white card as a guide to cut it, and then you're going to bring it back down, and you get exactly the same cut mark.
Perfect.
Excellent.
Thank you, Michelle.
That's okay.
Yeah, no problem. Again, anything else, Corinne? Just give us a shout, and then we can then drop back to you as well, but we'll see how you're getting on. But what we'll do for Corinne and anyone else that wants to then just have that little bit extra time to catch up with any of their little cuttings, what we can do is we can have a look through the board. So if you want to go for our collection selection here, very briefly again, the craft along is all about those that have got the collection when it first launched, so you'll have the paper pads, etc, etc. But if you don't have them now and you want to go for this collection that we've got here, what we've then got is all of what you can see. Now I have them here in more detail. You're going to be £67 or $87. If you are platinum, that's going to come down to £53.60 or $69.60. You're going to get razor glass. Now these are 4 or 5 individual stamps there. You've got Together Forever. Now that one is 4 individual stamps. You've then also got All That Jazz. So you've then got 4 individual stamps as well. You've then got the most gorgeous peacock feather. That one there is Fancy Feather. I say peacock, it could be of course any feather. You've then also got your Charleston couple. What I would highly recommend is in between the shows today or even after today, go back and watch Wake Up Call where Michelle done a couple of demonstrations with this collection. They were gorgeous. You've also got your scallop shell. You've also got your showgirl. Now that's a cut in or cut out with that outside die. You've got your 4x6 3D embossing folder, which is your floral deco. You've got another 4x6 cut and emboss folder. This one is your Art Deco frame. You've then got a full pack of these absolutely fantastic sentiments that work in conjunction with the Roaring Twenties. You've got some little of these fancy borders as well, that framework as well as the sentiments. You've then got your organza ribbon. So you've got 4 reels of your organza ribbon. You're going to get a full pack of your gold sequins as well, and then you're also going to be getting your pack of your gold Gildan flakes. You're going to get your little sponge applicator, and then you're also going to be getting your glue as well. So that is everything that you're then going to be getting within this collection selection. £67 or $87. Your platinum price of course comes down to £53.60 or $69.60. Equally as well, that would be the price you pay if this is your first purchase after joining Club Inspire. You've seen that video before with Sarah. So if you've joined Club Inspire and this is your first purchase, you'll also get it because you get 20% off your first order. It's all on Shop the Day. It's all on .co.uk, .com or .eu. That's where you need to go. But we are all good, it seems. No questions here. Everyone's just really loving the craft along. So we'll just go straight back to Michelle to carry on.
Fabulous. So that is the main piece, that is the front piece. So we're going to pop that to the side because we're going to create the rest of it that goes on the bottom. So pop that there. So again, you're going to bring in a piece of your mirror card. I can't reach mine because I've made such a mess. Piece of your mirror card. So we're going to cut this down. So we're going to cut this down to 11 inches by 3. So I'm going to trim this to 3 inches first. And then we're going to go to 11 inches. And then we're going to bring in, so I've picked this piece. It's a different piece to the one that I'm using, that I've used on there. And the reason being, because this is going to be the nice long bit at the bottom, this pattern just stands out. So if I bring it in, it just stands out and looks perfect as a backdrop. I mean, entirely up to you. You could go exactly the same if you want as the pieces, the pattern that we were using. But I just, again, just this pattern lended itself to that front bit. So I'm going to cut it exactly the same. So we're going to go to 3 inches by 11. And then I'm just going to pop this to the side. So bringing in this piece, what we're going to do is we're going to trim those corners. So I'm going to turn it over so you, for one, you can see a lot better. So I'm going to bring this in for you just to show you the kind of shape that we're sort of going for. Look, see, these are my notes. It's surprising anyone, well, I can follow them, and I think that's the main point, isn't it?
I think that's it, yeah. You can always follow your own notes, can't you?
Yeah, I think my piece of card is just a little bit wonky. I'm going to trim another piece. I'm just looking at that there, and it was incredibly on a wonk. So let me just cut that. So again, I'll just go over the measurements again. It's just 11 by 3. I pop that there and move that one. So we're going to turn this over. And so the measurements that I've done are 1 inch here. So we're going to measure 1 inch down there. I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm going to measure 1 inch there. And then we're going to go 1 2/8 of an inch in. So again, using my glass mat, I'm going to go 1 2/8 of an inch. And 1 2/8. So then I'll bring my ruler in again to show you. If I just pop a line across there, that's the bit that we're going to cut off.
Okay.
There we go. So again, you can use your scissors, your craft knife, your guillotine, entirely up to you. Just going to trim that. And then trim that. So that is sort of that front piece, so you can see that it's going to go on there.
Cool.
Like that. So where's my pattern piece? Here we go. So, I'm going to turn this. Do you know, it makes you go all...
it's like those magic mirrors,
yes,
isn't it, at the carnivals?
Yeah. Exactly the same. We're going to cut those corners away. So the corners that we did here, we're going to do exactly the same. So I'm going to measure an inch down, wasn't it? An inch down at that side, an inch down at this side. And then it was 1 2/8 of an inch in. So you can be using your scoreboard to measure these measurements. I've got my glass mat with all those measurements on, so it seems a shame not to use it. So 1 2/8 in. And again, we're going to just trim those corners away. So I'm just going to angle that so I can see my marks. They are there somewhere. There we go.
And that's the thing with this project, is gorgeous as it looks, and at first, you know, you might think, oh my gosh, would I be able to achieve that? The actual corners, the layers that you're chopping away, they're quite simple corners as well. They're nothing overly complicated swirls, they're just at angles that Michelle's shown you.
That's definitely it, definitely. So you can see, if I just pull that down a little bit, it's going to show my border. If I don't, it's exactly the same size. So what we're going to do is exactly like I did before. We're just going to trim a slim border away from the top and away from those angles and away from the sides. And again, I'm going to bring in this to do it because I find it the easiest on this. So I'm just going to find my measurement and just moved it a little. Straighten that up. Trim that bit away so you can see it is just 1 2/8 of an inch.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna pop that there. Down that side.
If I can just say as well, I know obviously this craft along's about the Roaring Twenties. If you are looking for a V-blade paper trimmer, I can personally highly recommend the one that Michelle's using, the Violet Studio. I've tried many over the years. I adore mine, Michelle.
Yeah.
It's the cut, the blade that they've got, but the actual workings as well. So check it out on the website.
Perfect. So I'm going to pop that on there. I'm a little off there, so I'm just going to go in, I'm going to trim that just a tiny little bit. I could see where I was off. I'm going to bring it back in. I'm not too bothered about the bottom yet. I want to make sure those top ones are perfect.
Okay.
And to be honest, we're going to have another strip going across the bottom, so it really doesn't matter. So I'm really happy with that. So let me pop that to the side. So we're going to glue this down. So again, because I'm using my mirror card, I'm going to use my tacky glue.
Such an elegant, elaborate kind of base to it, isn't it? I know it's the box in the middle, but...
Yeah, absolutely. It just inspired me so much, did this collection. It's just beautiful, isn't it? There we go. So again, I'm a tiniest little bit wonky there, but to be honest, once my Charleston couple goes over it, you're not going to see it at all. It's going to be absolutely fine. So I'm going to turn this over, and you can see, you could see, so you know when I said I've gone a little bit wonky there, you can see it just from the bottom a little bit, but it doesn't matter. We're just going to trim that straight. So again, this is where this comes in perfectly, or you could just use your scissors. It's entirely up to you just to trim that bit off. There we go. So I'm gonna just move you out the way. Just let me pop that out. Just wanting to get this nice and straight, and I think I've made it a little wonky, but that's okay. Pop you up there. Talking to it like it's going to answer back, aren't I? No, that's fine.
I think so many of us do that though, don't we?
So that is, and again, I know I've gone wonky, but once I'd stuck it down, it was too late. But once that's on there, you're not going to see it. So once your whole if you've done a bit and it's gone wonky and it's annoying you, once your project is being put together, you're not going to see it at all. So it's not really a problem.
Definitely not.
So there's a couple more pieces just for the front. Do you think we should have a break?
Let's do that.
And then I'll do those two pieces.
Definitely let anyone just in these stages catch up if they need to catch up. If not, then it means you can grab a quick copy or so. But yes, remember, this is from the Roaring Twenties collection selection that we have got. If you want to get your hands on it, it is across on our website. However, what we are going to do is we're going to take just a little break. We're going to give you a chance to catch up if you need to, but we will be back and we will continue just in a couple of moments.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
One that was really funny, Ben. You didn't.
It was better than your I'm a gnome and I live in a caravan.
I am a gnome and I live in a caravan.
Can we clip that?
Everybody's gone surfing, surfing USA.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us. You give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day.
We get to know people from places and walks of life that we wouldn't come across in our everyday life if it wasn't for Crafters TV and doing what we do.
I got so many lovely comments from people when I started doing the presenting, and it was just really such a lovely feeling. And it's nice that people keep messaging in. We see the same people. We know you can build up that kind of relationship with those people. So it's just the fact that people like what we do and they're pleased. And I do love it when people send us photographs of the items that they've made.
We talk about customers, but really they go in as a customer, come out as a friend. The support that I get is amazing. The messages I get are amazing.
Me personally, it is personal interaction. I've never had the best of health. I've always been open about that with our viewers at Crafters TV. So many people are in the same situation as me health-wise. Other people have got a completely different health issues. They understand and they relate to what I'm going through, what others are going through. So whether we interact on a crafting basis or whether we interact on a health basis, a personal basis, we're all there to support one another. It is incredible.
The reaction of viewers when they come to meet us is worth all of the early mornings when we have to get up for our early morning shows.
Some other customers come on as craft ambassadors and things like that, craft along with us, and being able to actually chat with them on air. Love it. I really love that connection with them.
We've had lots of shows where we've done like craft alongs, especially where we've had viewers craft along with us. We had a particular viewer, Joy, who joined us once before, and she literally made me cry on air, and Joe, because the things she said about us, it really was quite humbling that there are people out there that watch us and invite us into their living rooms and really treat us like family.
Tammy's loving what you're doing, loving the paper. Cindy's saying beautiful layering. Olga's saying hello, tuning in late from work. Nice to see you, Michelle. We've got Laurie Barnett saying love the papers. Such bold colours with the classy foiling. It's awesome. Isn't it just? Now it makes awesome cars, but also awesome projects like Michelle is doing at the moment. Now, before we actually go back to Michelle, we're going to head across to Hawaii and we're going to see Corinne and see how she's getting on now. How are you getting on, Corinne?
Friends, and especially Christine Mahoney. Thank you, mahalo. Giving me the measurements, and I'm starting to catch up. And I really appreciate some of those tips that Michelle has given for the angle cuts, because that's an area I struggle on every single time. So much appreciated.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you, and I'm going to be taking those tips as well, and that's what we're saying, you know, even we all learn as well from each other and from all of you at home, so that really is a good tip that I think everyone's going to be taking away, certainly even when it comes to the red liner tape as well. That is awesome. Yes. So you're happy with where you're at the moment, and you're looking forward to completing the craft along?
Yes, I'm moving along. Not quite where she's at, but I'm getting there.
Yeah. The main thing is you're enjoying it. That's what it's all about.
Yes.
Well, what we'll do again is we'll talk back again just shortly and say hi to see how you're getting on. But if you do have any other questions, just give us a shout, Corinne. Just raise your hand, and the guys in the gallery will pop you through.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome. Rightio, Michelle, back over to you.
Right, so this is where we're at the minute. This is going to glue on the front. So I've got this behind. And again, do you know what? It's entirely up to you. If you want to pop this in the front, absolutely do it. But I love that design. So mine is definitely going to go with this piece behind. So we're going to pop these two pieces to the side for now, because then what we're going to do is, if I bring this in, we're going to cut this long piece here, and then we're going to cut that triangle piece.
Okay.
So again, two very simple pieces. Bring in this. So again, bring in your gold card, and so the full length of that gold card, I think it's about 11 and 6/8, isn't it, roughly, 11 and 5. 9, 10, 11. Oh, have I cut mine down? Let me get a full piece. It doesn't really matter, we just need to make sure that it's longer than our base. So what are we on? 10, 11. Yeah, so it's about 11 and 5/8, isn't it, roughly? So if you want to cut that to 11 and a half and make it evenly numbered, then absolutely. But literally, look,
look at that.
You're taking the sliver off. That's all you're taking off. So we're going to go to, am I an inch? I think I am, yes.
Just to say very quickly, Kathy Myers, the paper trimmer that Michelle's using, it's Violet Studios, it is on the website. I've just gone and had a look, so it is there.
So, bear with me, I just want to double check. So just so you know what Craig had to deal with when he was following my craft along, I have got all sorts of bits that I am following to do my craft along. And I promise you, that all makes sense to me, but poor Craig. Poor Craig deserves the star.
Can I just say, in your defence, Michelle, you very kindly, you wrote it out. It was on A4 paper, and you did write it out in steps. So, you know, she didn't give me lots of little offcuts, you know, measurement size with everything written on it. So she did do it in order. So you're being a little bit hard on yourself on that one, Michelle. But we all learn, we all memorise, we all take notes from different forums, and that's one way that you do it, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Right, so that is 11 and a half inches wide, and I've just done it by 1 inch. So we're just going to do a matte layer piece, and again, I'm going to cut that piece there because it's going to fit in lovely. So let me turn that round. So we're going to go to 6/8 of an inch. So again, just lining that up. There we go. And I've got that lovely border piece that just fits absolutely gorgeous. So again, so this just needs trimming shorter. So this is going to go to 11 and 2/8 of an inch. And then, before I put that away, make sure I'm happy with that, and I absolutely am. So then all we're going to do is, so for that triangle piece, just let me just double check on the width of it. Yeah, 5 inches. Again, I've worked all my measurements out, so I wanted it to sort of fit nicely and perfectly in there. So we're just going to, again, we're going to get a piece of a gold card.
Okay.
We're going to cut down this. We're going to cut this down, sorry, to 5 inches wide and 3 inches high. Oh, that is 3 inches, but I need to cut it. So 5 inches by 3 inches. So if I just pop that to the side, we're going to do exactly the same. Remember at the beginning when we just put a notch in the middle at the top? So if I just bring this over here, I'm going to find, so the 2.5 inch mark is just 2.5 inch, and I'm going to cut on the angles, and that is it for this piece. It's quite simply from the middle all the way down, and we're just creating that triangle.
And all the angles, they're all simple angles that you've done. There's nothing overly complicated when it comes to the angle.
No, I wanted to make it as simple as possible. So I wanted to make sure that I worked it all out at home. Just simply to do it. So what I'm going to do for this piece is I'm going to bring in that pattern paper. When I find it, it's under here somewhere. Here it is. And we're just going to do the same again. So I'm going to cut this to 5 inches wide by 3 inches high. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to try and make that piece here, this pattern in the middle, bang in the middle of my measurement. So I'm going to trim each side down so I've got that nice and in the middle.
Oh, I see where you're going, right.
And then we're going to cut that to 3 inches. Exactly the same. So I'm just going to pop that to the side. We're going to make that mark at 2.5 inches, which is in the middle, just here. And then I'm going to trim it down again. So again, just using my edge of the guillotine as a guide. And then pop that on there. So again, it's exactly the same size as that, but what I've done with this one is all I've done is I'm going to bring that bit down and I'm going to mat and layer that on there. So if I turn that over so you can see it a bit better, it's exactly the same, and all we're going to do with this bit is we're going to bring it down. I'm going to have my nice border there, and I've got those 2 pointy edges, if you can see them. I was going to cut it, I was going to trim it down, and I thought actually that looks really nice.
It does.
So I'm just going to leave it like that, which is what we did. So again, all I'm going to do is we're going to pop some glue on there. and glue those two pieces together. I keep trying to put that pin somewhere safe so I don't lose it. And I keep putting it somewhere safe and not remembering
Not remembering where, no.
So just gluing this again, we're using that tacky glue. There we go. And we're just going to pop that straight on there. And I've got that lovely, again, it's just a different decorative element on it there.
But with it being right at the front of the project, as well as the actual die that you'll use, it's what the eye sees, so I can see why you wanted to have it so it was symmetrical in the middle.
Yeah, definitely. Which is how I did it with this as well. I made sure, by accident the first time, but this time I made sure that my pattern sits symmetrically in the middle.
Yeah.
I think the Art Deco theme, movement, whatever it was all those beautiful symmetrical patterns.
Isn't it?
Nothing was off kilter or a little bit wonky. It was all perfectly in line and everything like that. So let's just, so this piece that we cut as well, we're just going to pop that on the front, turn that over, there we go, and just pressing that down. So let me just do that with that one as well. And then, so I'm going to pop those two pieces to the side. So when you've got this piece here, we're going to pop that on the front and we're going to glue that on. And this is going to glue on flat. And then we're going to pop this piece on the front, but this is going to be on some foam pads. And then, where have I, oh, it's there. And then this is going to go on the front in the middle. So that's sort of how our front of it is going to come together. So let's just glue the bottom of this onto here. So again, just popping glue on. And then again, I'm going to turn that to the side just so I can measure this. So I'm looking here and here to make sure that this is in the middle. So if I know those two pieces are equal at each side, again, if you want to measure and have it exact rather than trying to go by eye. But once it's on there, you do have enough time just to wiggle it a little bit to the side if you feel you need to. And then we're just going to give that a nice burnish. Because there's different layers of this, different depths of this card, you need to make sure that it's stuck down nice and well.
And for me, as much as I love my dry tape, so my double-sided tape and that, I think this is definitely a good one for your wet glue, as you say there, with your tacky glue.
Yeah, it just allows for that, doesn't it? So giving it a good burnish. Right, so what you're going to do now, I'm not going to do it because I don't really have the time, but I'm not too bothered. If you want to cover this back bit up, if you've got your pencil markings and you've made it a little bit mucky, and you want to bring in one of your pattern pieces of paper, so just pop that on here, draw all the way round it and cut out. So if I show you on here, you're just going to draw all the way round it, so making sure it's facing up. Draw all the way round, cut that out, and then you're going to be able to glue it onto the back. And it's going to sit perfectly. So that's if you want to cover the back up. It's entirely up to you. But that is just another way and a nice simpler way. You can cut all these different layers out if you want, you know, like we did at the beginning, to glue on the back, or you can just cut one solid piece of pattern paper out and glue it to the back so it covers up. I mean, look how messy I am, so mine's quite dirty, so you could do that.
Do you think
so? You absolutely could do that if you wanted to. So we're here for now. So this is coming together lovely. So what we're going to do is, this is where our foam on a spherical piece of cardboard.
It's all right, you can say it around me because I won't sing it.
I know, I've seen you when Debbie sings it. So yeah, foam on a roll. You could use individual foam pads if you absolutely wanted to. I find it so much easier to use this. Right, there we go. So make sure that they're pressed down nice and firmly. So what you're going to find happens is when you pop this on here, because this middle bit is that slightest bit higher, it's gonna curve down a bit. Go with that. Don't try and fight against it.
Okay.
So I don't know, it's the slightest bit. I don't know if you can even see that.
Oh,
Can
yeah,
you
you
see?
can. Yeah, you can see that little bit extra thickness in the middle.
But as long as you make sure that you're going to smooth that down as much as you can, that tiniest little bit of a doming on the front looks quite nice. So we're going to just pop the backs of this off. And again, don't do what I've just done and go all the way to the edges, because remember, we're going to have a little bit of overhang. So I'm just going to trim those down just a little bit.
Okay.
So just get rid of that.
Another good tip as well, yeah, if you extend your foam on a roll, just use your craft knife instead of fighting with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So just trim those two off. Now again, you're going to make yours just a little bit tidier than mine. I just want to get everything done so I can show you it all. But the hardest bit is done. So the hardest bit is absolutely done for now. So depending on which way, I'm going to go that way. So again, I'm going to turn it upside. I don't know why, I just find it easier. I'm going to turn it upside down and excuse my head if it's in the way, just to pop that on there. Now when you're pressing this down, you'll feel right about there that it curves down, but go with it, give it all a nice good burnish and you will get that bit of a curve. But again, I think it just adds to the effect of it. And once you've popped this on the front,
oh wow,
because I've got that foam pad behind there and that's coming up, it's just, I love it.
I do too.
So all we're going to do is we're going to glue this, making sure that I don't go above an inch, because that's an inch high.
It's absolutely spectacular.
So again, let me spin this round so I can line it up. So again, I'm lining this up by eye, but you can see my line is following.
Follow. That's so pleasing on my eye.
And again, even though I'm going to have that embellishment on the front, my line is still going to, you're still going to see the top, the bottom, it's just going to line up beautifully. So just hold that down for a second. There we go. And do you know what, if you've got glue splodgers on all your mirror card, I wouldn't worry too much about it, because what I tend to do is if I've got a wet wipe that I've been using, when it is just nearly dry, I just go around the edges and I clean all my fingerprints off. If I use a wet one, you can guarantee that I'm going to remove some of that lovely pattern and colour. But if it's almost dry, it cleans and then buffs up that mirror card.
At the same time.
Yeah. So there we go. So that is the front. And then, do we need a break there or should I carry on? What do you think?
Yeah, we're going to take a wee quick break here, just before Michelle goes any further. We'll dot back to Hawaii as well, see how Corinne's getting on. How are you getting on, Corinne?
I'm catching up slowly but surely.
Good.
I'm doing pretty good. It's just now I got to put them all together. If she could recap how she did, all these parts here, that would be helpful, and then I'll be fairly caught up.
Perfect. Rightio. So what was that you just said there with the all caught? Perfect. Awesome. Didn't catch you there. I think there was a little glitch there.
Yeah,
so that's
these parts. If she could show
how to stick those on.
How to put these together.
Got you. Rightio. Because you used the red liner tape for that, didn't you?
Yeah. So if I bring in, just bear with me.
Yeah, no problem.
If I bring in this to show you. So that was my, the piece that we said that we were cutting out of the middle, if you remember.
Okay.
So this is it. So this is what it's gonna look like. So what you're gonna do is once you've cut that corner, 1/2 inch down, bear with me, I do have all my pieces here. Let me trim it for you. And I'll post all these afterwards for you, Corinne, as well, so you can see and you know, follow it. We're going to glue that strip all the way down there. 1/2 inch down from that middle bit, it's just going to glue underneath. So that bit is the only bit that's going to glue underneath that front bit. And you're going to do exactly the same with the other piece. So this other piece, that is the thinner piece that's going to go on that outside, that's how we put that glue strip on.
Mm-hmm.
So we measured 2/8 of an inch in and 2/8 of an inch in, and then we used our red liner tape to create that angle. And then what happened then was when you put that one again, you're going to measure 1/2 inch from that one, and it's going to, let me do it on that side because it's the correct side. Measure 1/2 inch down again, and it's going to glue on like that. There we go, like that. So all you're going to do is you're going to measure 1/2 inch from there. That piece, your thicker piece, is going to have a glue line straight down the side, and that's going to glue underneath there. Then your second piece, which is your thinner piece, we're going to glue it on an angle from 1/4 of an inch in there to 1/4 of an inch in there. You're going to use your red liner tape as the ruler, so to speak. So you're going to follow that glue line. Let me put it under this one for you. So it's going to follow that glue line. 1/4 of an inch down, glue line, and then it gives that one an angle.
Perfect.
Is that okay?
Looks straightforward to myself. Hopefully you caught that one there, Corinne. You just jot that one down. You'll be able to assemble them ones together. But that's helpful, even if you're popping them on as well on your pages afterwards, Michelle. That'll be a big help as well. Rightio, hopefully you're all caught up. We're going to go back to Michelle, are we? Yeah, back we go to carry on.
Right, so if I bring this in for you, you can see that I've used a piece of acetate. I've used that gorgeous dye, that gorgeous showgirl. But I'm going to show you that. I'm going to do that next. What I'm going to do is I want you to be able to create that box. So I'm going to show you how we did that. And then, you know, if we don't get time, you can cut that out yourselves anyway. So pop this to the side. In fact, I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to bring in a piece of black card. And the way that I decided how big my internal box was going to be was, so if I turn it up that way, I think we're on 4 inches. That's 4 inches wide, and we're 3 inches deep. So I was just deciding how far across here I could go to create a box without it coming out and over the sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to trim this down to 3 inches wide, which is going to be the base, and we're going to have a tab at each side. So we're going to trim it down to 4 inches. So we're 4 inches wide. Let me have a look. What did I do? I did. So we're going to put this to 11. So we're 4 by 11.
Mm-hmm.
Going to bring your scoreboard in. I don't think I've used it yet, have I?
No, not.
Right, scoreboard 4 by 11. So on the short side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch. And 3.5. So it's going to give you a 1/2 inch tab on both sides. And then we're going to turn it, and on the long side, I'm going to score at 4 inches. I'm going to flick it round, and I'm going to score at 4. So again, you could make that wider if you wanted, as long as it's still hidden by the front, then it really doesn't matter. Right, so all we're going to do now is we're going to burnish those two sides there and bring this in, and then that middle bit. And then we're going to get your scissors and we're just going to cut a little notch in here. So just a little notch out there and there. So to that score line in the middle. And flip it round and we're going to do exactly the same. There. And there.
And here's me thinking for that inner box, it's going to be separate tabs and little fold lines, and what a great simple way.
That's exactly it. So all you need to do, you're going to glue those 3 tabs and you're going to angle that as close or as open as you absolutely want. So that, if you've got any of our shaped card bases like those shoes or the caravan, and you want to make that into a box, use this method. It's as simple as that. You're going to cut 2 of the shoes out. You're going to cut this piece of card to whatever depth or size that's going to fit in it, and that's as difficult as that gets. So we've gone through all that for the front, and if I bring this in, this back is exactly the same as the gold we did for the front. So exactly the same measurements. You're going to cut that middle piece and your 2 sides. That's it. We're not matting layering that back piece. If you want to, you absolutely can. But I liked leaving it black. I just thought it looked very nice. So that's all you're going to do for the back. And then all you're going to do is, so we're going to glue this 1 tab first. So again, let me just get my glue. We're going to pop it in the middle. So just let me give it a fold back. I'm going to pop that. Am I in the middle? Just judging. Roughly. Roughly will do.
Roughly.
There we go. Actually, let me just bring that over. There we go. So I'm going to hold that tab down. I've only glued that 1 middle tab for now. So just that one, give that a nice burnish.
Okay.
Always pop that one on first. It doesn't have to be flush with the bottom. It can be higher up if you want, but because you're going to have 2 of these bases standing, your middle box doesn't need to be flush with the bottom. And then, depending on where you want this, is where you're going to stick it. So it's entirely up to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me pop glue on both these tabs.
You could really have like a lovely big deep basket for lots of chocolates or sweets or...
Absolutely. You absolutely could, because you're deciding once it's on here how wide you want to make it. So, again, excuse my head, let me pop that one there first.
Or you could put a little glass jar inside with a battery operated tea light or something, you know, so it's flickering away.
Yeah, because by using this sort of technique, you really can. You've got just so much more options for size and depth.
You do.
So I'm just burnishing, giving those a good press down. And what will happen now is, when you want to glue the other side on, all you need to do is glue those 3, pop your piece of card on, and they're going to be in exactly the same place on this side as they are on that side, because that is dictating where they're going to stick. They're not going to move. You're not going to have to try and wiggle them into place. So I'm just looking at the time. I'm debating whether we cut the black pieces out again for the back, or if we just go on and decorate the front. But you can see, oh look, there you go.
There you
look,
go,
how,
you can see
how
it.
easy is that just to make that box in between? So now once I put those, let me use a different colour card for you. Once I create my back and pop it on, those tabs are going to glue in exactly the same place. I don't need to move them, I don't need to try and manipulate them into place because they're already glued onto this side.
Even if you were to do the back just now, Michelle, then that means you've constructed the whole
That's what I'm
thing.
thinking.
And then, you can decorate it at
And
home.
we get to go over the sizings again.
Yeah.
Right, so let's pop that to the side. We're going to bring in a black. We're going to bring, don't know where that came from, black piece of card. I went all South African then.
You did, didn't you? Yeah.
So remember, this is the depth of our A4. We're going to cut this one down to 6 inches. We're going to cut 2 strips at 1.5 inch. And then we're going to cut 2 at 1 inch.
It's amazing how time flies, isn't it?
I know.
Absolutely flew over.
Right, so those are our pieces. Right, so let me get me pencil. I went all common then. Right, so remember 6 inches wide. We're going to score 3 inches in the middle. It's going to be a little bit easier, I think, for you to see. Not on the mirror card. 3 inches. We're going to go 1 inch there, 1 inch there, and then remember at the bottom 2 inches in from each side. And then we're going to cut that. So let's cut that first. So again, just popping it on here. If you find it easier with your scissors or your craft knife or your paper trimmer, then whatever is easier for you. So just lining that up. There we go, so that is our middle piece. So let's pop that to the side. So this is probably a good idea actually, so Corinne can see where exactly we put those glue strips. So these are our 2 1.5 inches. So what did we say we went down to? 1/2 inch, isn't it? So notch at 1/2 inch on these, and then we're going to trim that up. And then on this one. Right, so we'll glue these on first. What I want to do on here is measure 1/2 inch down.
Okay.
So I'm gonna put a big notch so you can see a lot easier. 1/2 inch there and 1/2 inch there. And then the top of that is going to line up with that 1/2 inch, but we need to put our tape on first. So using our 3mm, we're going to go all the way down just the edge, and this is the line that I'm going to follow to make sure that it sticks on nice and straight. So let me just trim that off. Right, so following from that 1/2 inch line, I'll try and do it the right way up so you can see better. So we're just going to, that 1/2 inch notch, it's going to line up with the edge of my red liner tape, and it's going to go straight down. So if I turn it over, it's just, that's 3mm over onto there, glued on, that's it. So we do the same for this one. We're going to glue with our red liner tape. If you want it on, you know, if you're adjusting sizes and you want to have a bigger sort of border that you're gluing on, then absolutely use your 6mm or your 12mm. But I thought this was perfect. Right. So again, remember that 1/2 inch notch that we've marked there?
That's right.
We're going to pop that top bit there, and hold it with my finger, which allows me to wiggle this perfectly into place. So that's giving me that lovely Art Deco style at the top. We're going to bring in our 1-inch ones. We're going to do exactly the same. We're going to score down at 1/2 inch. Right, so the only thing different we're going to do with this one is I want it angled. So once I've trimmed that top away, from the inside, so the piece that's going to attach, we're going to measure that 1/4 inch. And then from the outside in, I'm going to measure 1/4 inch there. So once I put my red liner tape on, following those 2 marks, again, hold this nice and tight because it'll give you a straight line automatically. That is what it's going to look like.
Okay.
So can you see that? There you go.
There we go.
You've got that diagonal. And we're going to do exactly the same with the other side. So I'm going to trim that away. And so if I bring this in, from the side that's going to glue on here, we're just going to make a measurement, where's my pencil gone, of 1/4 inch. And so we're going on a diagonal. So from this side in, it's 1/4 inch. And again, using our red liner tape as a guide. There we go. So what happens then is when we glue these on, instead of them gluing on nice and straight like that, they're going to glue at that angle.
Okay.
So don't forget, again, 1/2 inch down. I'm going to put a mark on both sides. And then we're going to glue this. So let's get this pokey tool. Let's lift that up. So again, that 1/2 inch down notch is going to line up with the top of that. And again, if you hold your finger there, glue that bit down, hold that bit down, allows you to wiggle this about in line with that red liner tape, because that's what we're using as a guide. And it goes on perfectly. So again, let's do the same on the other side. So 1/2 inch down, I'm going to hold that at the top of there. I'm just going to wiggle it round until we've followed that line of the tape. And then stick it down. We're going to bring in our guillotine, trim off those bottoms. So that's it. That's exactly the way we did the front.
It is, isn't
exactly
it?
the way we're going to do the back. And then, so you can see now, I can bring this in here. It's going to sit on. It's going to glue beautifully. So we're just going to put glue on these 3 tabs.
Just while you're there, Janelle was saying, what was the measurements of that box base again?
So for me, in fact, I've done it a little bit different, to be honest, to this one. It's just a little bit different width-wise.
Okay.
But it's 3 inches wide, and these are both 4 inches. So we've got 11 inches wide by 4 inches deep. We had a 1/2 inch score line on both sides, and then we scored at 4 inch and 7 inches. And then you score your sides in, you cut your notches. Cutting the notches is important because you're not getting that bulk once you've popped that on there. So all we're going to do, I can glue all 3 of these ones now. So these are what? So if you're wondering about my notches, let me just give this, bear with me, and I'll show you what I mean.
Just like little angles, isn't it?
So once you've got those sides scored, and you are wanting to, as if you're making a lid for a box, these are your notches. So that is a notch. I'm going to cut that notch away. That's my notch.
Gives you that flexibility,
so
doesn't it?
Yeah. My notches. It gives you the flexibility to be able to move it about. If you don't cut those notches out, you get an awful lot of bulk and it's not going to sit nice and straight. So, I didn't realise I'd be able to say notches so many times in one sentence. So you can either pop it on like that or sit that down so it's you know it's going to be nice and level with your glass mat. It's going to be nice and level with the bottom of that box base, and pop your hand just in the middle. Give them a nice squeeze so they're nice and on there. I mean, I'm losing the ability for English now, so...
No, you're absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
I'm going to go in with my score tool. I'm just going to burnish those sides down. Make sure that they've got... they're stuck on nice and firm. I have to use my scoring tool because I've got little hands. So there we go. So that is how you make that box base. If I just turn it to the side, you can see how easily it's come together. So if I bring in the one I have finished, it's exactly the same. Obviously, it just decorated up. But that's how, I'm saying that's how easy it is. There's a bit of cutting. I've tried to make the scoring, you know, your mats and layers as easy as possible, but bringing them both in, all you're going to do is you're going to cut a piece of acetate for behind that gorgeous lady. What is she called? She is the showgirl.
Showgirl.
So you're going to cut her out in some gold. You're going to layer her onto the top of that gorgeous acetate, and I've just put some foam on a roll around that to have that height. Again, 2 of my Charleston ladies, or couple of feathers, and that really is the only other things that I've added.
Yeah, just 3 little bits. That is absolutely spectacular. Being able to show and step us through that construction of that absolutely beautiful box, or you can pop little gifts or whatever you like in there. Of course, it's entirely up to yourself. All you need to do is just add these few little die cuts. But for the last and final time, we're going to head across to Hawaii, and we're just going to see where Corinne's got up to on her craft along. Here we go.
Well,
how's it going?
I'm not quite near as far as Michelle on hers.
No, that's absolutely fine.
I've got all the parts.
That's
I've got the girl. I've got all that. It's just putting everything together.
Yeah.
I didn't catch where you trim this part off.
Follow the middle. Follow the middle, the bottom of your middle bit.
That base.
Okay.
Just cut
And then
straight
it's just going back and putting all these together.
Yeah.
And I got the box part. It's just, I'm a little slow.
No, it's absolutely
but it's getting
fine.
there.
It means that you've got obviously all these components now ready to go, and although that we're at the end of the show, at least now this will be straight on our YouTube. You can always go back to and then recap any of the bits that Michelle recap the bits, the measurements that Michelle has gone over. Would you send us a picture in once you've finished? Let us see how you
Oh,
look.
absolutely.
Excellent, brilliant. Studio at crafterscompanion.co.uk. Have you enjoyed yourself? That's the main thing.
Yes, absolutely. It's been a lot of fun, and I really appreciate being on here.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you getting up so early in the morning. Would you come on again?
Of course.
Yes, that's what we love to hear. Love to hear. So lovely to see you on this Craft Along, Corinne. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining in with Michelle's Craft Along. Send us that picture once you've finished as well. We'd love to see it, and I know Michelle would love to see it as well.
Yes,
Defo.
definitely.
Excellent.
Yes.
Rightio, that was absolutely spectacular, Michelle. Thank you so much. I've had a blast this morning. I'm not in tomorrow with you, but you are in tomorrow.
I am. I'm in tomorrow. Oh, I'm in with Ben and Becky tomorrow. Do you know what? It's been a treat for me. I've got you today, I've got Ben tomorrow, and I've got Debbie on Saturday.
Oh, brilliant. What a few days that you've got. Definitely next few days. You know, you want to tune in every day, but certainly the next few days, that's for sure. Certainly when Becky's in with Michelle, who knows what can happen, and Ben just being the wind-up merchant that he is. A bit like myself at times. Rightio, we have got a massive cartload. Guess what? It's not 1, It's not 2. We've got 3-hour cartload, myself and Leanne. It's going to be phenomenal. We've got some secret sales coming your way. If you want to find out all about that, come tune in, join live with myself and Leanne and the team. We'll be back at 6 o'clock UK time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Pacific time. We'll see you then.